Today we'll be presenting to you our new product,
X3
Think Novel,
Beat
Cancer.
Here is our presentation overview, and we will talk through it by three main sections.
Approximately 1 in every 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. Breast cancer is one of the most common cancers seen around the world, with 15 to 20% of breast cancer cases being triple-negative breast cancer. Breast cancer is an aggressive cancer type, and it's more commonly presented in younger patients and those with a BRCA1 mutation. One of the main reasons why it's so difficult to treat this particular cancer is due to the lack of therapeutic target sites. What that means is that targeted therapies and hormonal therapies are ineffective when it comes to triple-negative breast cancer. The only effective treatment that is available at the moment is chemotherapy. However, overall survival and high relapse risk within 5 years are key concerns, as well as chemo resistance. We hope that through the introduction of cocktail therapies, which includes our product Pac3 we're able to significantly improve patient overall survival and progression-free survival too.
We selected Paclitaxel as Candidate Y as our choice of traditional chemical drug. Used as a first-line treatment of cancer, Paclitaxel is mostly non-immunogenic and is a non-tumor specific cell. Therefore, ligands such as monoclonal antibody is chemically bound to Paclitaxel for the specific target of the EGFR receptor. How does Paclitaxel work? There are 3 mechanisms associated with the microtubule inhibitor. First, Paclitaxel binds to the beta-tubulin of the microtubule proteins, preventing segregation of chromosomes. Therefore, mitotic progression is delayed and the whole eukaryotic cell cycle stops at the G2 or M phase. This leads to the cell apoptosis. Now, let's move on to the pharmacokinetics of Paclitaxel. Due to hypersensitivity associated with Paclitaxel, which makes drugs poorly soluble upon oral administration, intravenous administration is favored. Dose of 90 mg per meter squared is administered over a 21-day cycle. And Paclitaxel has a high protein binding and relatively quick half-life elimination of 27 hours. It is metabolized quickly by 3 metabolites with minimal renal function excretion.
Candidate Z, we selected pembrolizumab as a choice of biological medicine. Pembrolizumab is a monoclonal antibody, and it specifically targets the programmed cell death 1 protein. The programmed cell death 1 protein is an immune checkpoint in our bodies, and it specifically binds to the programmed cell death ligand 1 protein receptor. By binding to this receptor, the programmed cell death 1 protein helps to halt T-cell attack on cells, including cancer cells. By administering immunotherapy like pembrolizumab, what we're effectively doing is blocking the activity of the programmed cell death 1 protein, which leads to the promotion of a T-cell mediated immune response and eventually cytokine release to lead to cancer cell death. We will now be talking about the pharmacokinetic properties of pembrolizumab. Starting off with the dose. Pembrolizumab is administered at a dose of 200 mg over 30 minutes via the IV route of administration. Higher doses may be given to patients depending on their weight or other disease characteristics. It is given at a dosing interval of 3 weeks, and this is mainly attributable to its long half-life of 26 days. Finally, it offers 100% bioavailability when administered by the IV route. One of the main advantages of these pharmacokinetic properties is that the patient is only required to come into the hospital for treatment every 3 weeks. It makes it a lot more convenient and easy for patients to access the treatment, and also the first dose of the cycle can be coincided with the weekly Paclitaxel. So, we can clearly see that Paclitaxel and pembrolizumab have synergistic activity based on their respective pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. One of the greatest benefits of administering these 2 drugs together includes the additive effects that lead to cancer cell death, as well as the issue of immunoresistance being overcome. Further to that, we are also going to reduce the risk of toxicity, such as immune-related reactions with pembrolizumab when administering it with Paclitaxel due to the pre-treatment steroid dose. Finally, we also have many trials demonstrating the efficacy of this combination, such as the Keynote 355 and the Keynote 522 trials. Both these trials found a significant improvement in progression-free survival and event-free survival of TNBC patients, making TAC3 a very promising treatment.
Name of products, we combine the first three letters of paclitaxel and the last three letters of pembrolizumab. The number 3s come from the words triple. The slogan was created using the abbreviation of our target indication, TNBC. The total global medicine market in 2020 is $1.27 trillion, compared to the $390 million in 2001. There's a significant increase. IQVIA has forecasted that the market will reach $1.6 trillion in 2025, with a CAGR of 3 to 6%. The breast cancer market was valued at around $20 billion in 2020, with a forecast to reach $32 million by 2026, with an 8.3% CAGR. The largest piece of this market has been captured by BMS together with Celgene and Merck. According to the National Cancer Institute, 1.8 million people will be diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020 in the US, with 276,480 females and 2,620 males. And the estimated death for breast cancer will be around 43,600, which counts for 7.2% of all cancer deaths. And there's 4 prominent female breast cancer subtypes, where TNBC ranked as the second prevalent. That is similar to the rate of luminal B and HER2-enriched breast cancer. From 2020 to 2027, the TNBC treatment market is expected to reach a volume of over 820 million, with a CAGR of over 4.5%. North America currently controls a significant portion of the market. The Asian Pacific and Latin American regions have generated large potential opportunistic space for manufacturers due to increased treatment rate and increased prevalence of TNBC.
This is just a brief summary of our SWOT analysis.
Paclitaxel, when compared to other chemotherapies, is more accepted by professionals for the first-line treatment of breast cancer. Whereas for pembrolizumab, out of the other 2 immunotherapy drug candidates, was the earliest to be approved. And therefore, it has the most clinical data proving its therapeutic effects and on its adverse effects for people to prevent it. FDA has granted accelerated approval to this monoclonal antibody in particular, with chemotherapy as treatment for TNBC patients. We're therefore promoting this drug combination after finding multiple clinical evidence of better therapeutic response compared to the separate uses for TNBC. We have also considered all the side effects and risks from this product, but they can all be managed and minimized by other interventions.
More than 20% of patients experience side effects after taking this drug combination. Patients are also at risk of adverse reactions relevant to the activity of the immune system. Pembrolizumab and paclitaxel have severe interactions with certain drugs and vaccines, and therefore, us healthcare professionals will play a vital role in determining the safety of patients who will be undergoing this treatment. In addition, the cost of the 2 drugs is a major setback. A vial of paclitaxel is already £374, whereas pembrolizumab has a cost of £2,630 per vial.
Despite all the weaknesses of this product, there will be immense growth potential for this drug combination due to the growing demand for TNBC treatment. It is worth investing into this combination, since there are multiple ongoing clinical trials proving the effectiveness of this combination on TNBC. In the possible future, these 2 drugs may be formulated in a way so that both of them can be administered once every 21 days, or perhaps even have it as a combination product. There are multiple competitors for both the separate drugs and the drug combination itself. Take for example nab-paclitaxel, which is also called Abraxane, is a major competitor of paclitaxel, which is also called Taxol, since they are in the same class of drug. Whereas pembrolizumab has competitors such as atezolizumab, durvalumab, nivolumab, etc. In addition, there are also ongoing studies testing the efficacy of other immunotherapy-chemotherapy combinations. For example, atezolizumab with Abraxane. Abraxane is a major competitor of Taxol since it has higher efficacy. By analysing the global market, we have observed that Taxol, which is a value of $90 million in 2019, is estimated to reach $140 million in 2024, with a compound annual growth rate of 9%. whereas Abraxane is estimated to increase from approximately $98 million to $214 million from 2012 to 2024, with a compound annual growth rate of 8.07%. In year 2020, the global sale of pembrolizumab is $14.39 billion and is expected to grow up to $18.7 billion in 2025, whereas atezolizumab, durvalumab, and nivolumab has an estimated sale of $5.53 billion, $1.9 billion, and $9.33 billion in 2022.
Market is further segmented into specific institutions based on distribution channel. Because of the easy availability of facility, specialty cancer clinics are the most frequent users. Oncologists are not the product's final user, but they are the ones who make the decision about which product to employ, how to prescribe them, and how to dispense them. Thus, our prioritized target institution would be independent community hospital, an academic medical center that has breast cancer specialists. Our product is not the original branded and may not be the first one to enter the market, as BMS and Celgene has few clinical trials ongoing. Therefore, we will position Paxlovid at a lower price with the same efficiency to gain more market share. Marketing objective is described here. Our main focus is to enhance penetration of Paxlovid in cancer centers by establishing good clinical results and competitive price. To achieve these goals, we will advertise Paxlovid through digital platforms such as social medias, company website, and emails. We will also host some internal trainings for sales representatives to make sure that they all get solid background knowledge. One of the best ways to reach oncologists is through the professional conference. Those who will try to present at some breast cancer conference and give out the most up-to-date information. In order to enter a global market in the future, we may also partner with a third-party advertising organization. So these tables show our metrics and plan to measure them. All of these are conducted internally to track our implementation performance, strategy execution, and business performance. We will amend our marketing strategy if any of the metrics is not achieved. We also made a simple timeline of marketing program, including internal training, conference, campaign, and digital marketing to ensure our marketing goals can be achieved in the near futures. The graph in your left side is our marketing budget. We will put half of them on conference and training, as our main target is oncologists with professional knowledge.
We will now be presenting to you our risk management plan, in which we identified 3 risks pertaining to the active pharmaceutical ingredients of Paxlovid. These risks were either pharmacological or pharmaceutical. Each risk was prioritized based on harm level, frequency or likelihood of occurrence, and overall nature of the risk. The highest priority was given to adverse drug reactions and side effects, as the reactions are either very rare or very common, and so it was expected that more patients would be affected by them. The second risk that we prioritized was the preparation of Paxlovid prior to administration and storage, because of the preparation having a significant impact on how the drug will affect the body. The risk of harm was rated as high to medium. The third risk that we identified was drug-drug or drug-food interactions. Because the frequency is not known, as it varies with different patients and comorbidities or diets as well, this is put as the third priority risk. With risk identification, our risk management plan specifically outlines a checklist of what to look out for in patients based on symptoms and signs and other monitoring requirements. And then with regards to risk handling, we divided this into 3 sections. Number 1 being how to prevent or minimize a risk, number 2 being monitoring that we recommend, and number 3 being how to manage a risk such as adverse drug reactions when they do take place.
Thank you so much for listening.
We really hope you gained something from our presentation today.
We are optimistic that Paxlovid will be a breakthrough point in our battle against TNBC.
Join us as we think novel and beat cancer.